I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior at Dobson High School in Mesa. I'm involved in student council, NHS, and like Kim said, swim. My sophomore year is when I really realized that swim was my passion, and I followed it. I started swimming club year-round. I was swimming 12 to 15 hours a week, and it's really just putting a lot of time and effort in it. And in June of 2014, my sophomore year, the summer going into my junior year, I just wasn't feeling like myself. I just couldn't really get stuff done at practice, and it was just, I knew something was wrong. And so we went to the doctor. She told me I wasn't eating enough, sleeping enough, but luckily we had blood work done, and we get a call one Saturday morning. My mom gets a call saying that I have, the doctor thinks that I have leukemia because my platelets were low. They were at 8,000, I believe, which like 150,000 is like the low end of normal. So I was, that weekend I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and the prognosis was looking really good, 90 or so % survival rate. And so we were going, I started chemo right away, and about 2 weeks into my chemo, we got the results back from this genetic test, and I had a genetic disorder in the leukemia cells, and I was missing about like 12, there were 12, and the leukemia cells, sorry, they were missing like 12 pairs of chromosomes, which made the prognosis like a 30% survival rate without a bone marrow transplant. So we decided that I would go to receive a bone marrow transplant, and about 5 months later, I received that bone marrow transplant October 16, 2014. I had to go through that harsh chemo and radiation to prepare to kill my bone marrow, basically, to receive my donor's marrow. For the transplant, I was in the hospital for 6 weeks. Those 6 weeks were some of the hardest days of my life. Luckily, a lot of them I don't remember just because of all the pain meds and the nausea meds that I was on. There was a span of like 3 to 4 weeks where I wasn't even eating because of the nausea and the mucositis. There was about a week, 10 days or so where I wasn't even speaking just because of the mucositis and just the pain I had. I just wasn't able to talk. The nurses and the doctors, as well as my family and my friends, just helped me so much to get through it. Just the relationships that you build with the nurses and the doctors, especially when you're going through a transplant. Sorry, I'm forgetting to turn it quick here. So this is the day I received my transplant. I didn't lose my hair for the first 4 or 5 months of chemo, which they told me I'd lose it in 3 weeks, but I didn't. I did end up losing it. Here's later on. This is in the hospital for transplant. But as I was saying, the nurses and the doctors just kind of helped me so much. Just the relationships you build, especially with the nurses. Just when you're in isolation from transplant, there aren't a lot of people that are allowed to visit you. So I mean, the relationships that you do build were just very special, and I am very glad for those relationships. They really do care for you and try their very best to make you feel comfortable and get you back on the track of being healthy and getting out of the hospital. So I was released in November of 2014 after a 6-week stay. Let's see. Sorry. After I was released, I was still on very close watch, just trying to stay healthy, and again, pretty much isolation at home. I spent 2 to 3 days every week in the clinic receiving transfusions, just getting checked out, that kind of thing. And those days were very, very long and boring because the transfusions, you're just sitting there, not really doing anything, kind of hopped up on Benadryl, so you can't really, you're just tired and there's nothing you can do. So again, people like the nurses and the doctors that can help you so much, and Kim especially on those types of days when you're just not feeling good. And Kim, I always felt, knew how to help you, even if you didn't know what you wanted. She would go and find what you needed, and I remember one time she would bring Snickers bars or bring this or bring that. And as teenagers, we again don't necessarily play with all these toys, but she would still find what we need, and she would always kind of talk to me about what I'm looking forward to, and she would get me excited to be healthy again and to be able to experience some of the things later on when I was healthy again with her, was very special to me. Chemo was very challenging, but I think after the transplant, just the waiting for my bone marrow to actually start building new cells and not being able to leave my house was probably the hardest part. You want to go to this picture. This is what I like. This is about a year ago. This is in April. As you can see, I was on prednisone for 3 or 4 months, and it was just a lot of not looking like yourself or not feeling like yourself. You'd wake up every morning and see a different person in the mirror, and as a teenage boy, it was just very hard. And again, just long days of being isolated and not being able to go to school, go to certain school events, and experiencing those things was very, very difficult. After a long, very, very hard summer, I was on an antibiotic for about 6 months during the summer, so I was nauseous almost every morning, and I was dealing with that. I started school in August again, and I achieved my main goal in September of swimming. So I had to sit for almost a year and a half out of swimming, and just getting back in the water and being with my teammates was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, to be able to join my teammates and just to kind of appreciate being able to do normal things like swimming was just an incredible experience. This was in, I believe, either September or October of this year when I started swimming again. Here's another one as well. This is also from this year. I was elected student body president this last year. While I was still isolated at home, even wasn't at school, with my big old prednisone face that came in and videotaped me at home. So I really just always looking forward to getting back to normalcy, and I'm still adjusting to certain things, but I'm living a very normal life, and I'm very, very, very thankful for that. Now, kind of rewind a little bit. There are a lot of blessings throughout the whole entire experience through the suffering. Those included a lot of the developed relationships I had with family, friends, again, nurses and doctors, as well as other people. And one of my favorite examples of that was when I was able to actually meet Paul Goldschmidt and kind of develop a relationship there. I first met Paul, this was during transplant, during some of the hardest, it was one of the hardest periods of time, because again, I wasn't really talking very much, I wasn't eating again, so it was a very hard time, and to have a professional athlete come and take time the other day to come visit me was amazing, and it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life and one of the hardest times, so it was incredible. And a couple weeks later, Paul reached out to me and said that he was thinking of me. He had just injured his hand, and so he started to work out and do some stuff again. He said he was thinking about me, and as an athlete, that meant so much to me that he was thinking of me as an athlete, and to have it kind of gave me that drive to get back to swimming. And I do believe that my drive to want to get back in the water is part of the reason I was able to get healthy again, and are a big part of that as well as my family and the doctors and the nurses' support. Paul Still has done so much for me, brought my family to a game and showed me the clubhouse and all these amazing things. And he not only does so many great things for me, but just for the kids in the hospital and all the patients, and it's truly incredible, and just all that he does for the hospital is just amazing. And this is at the DBAC's childhood cancer, and again, got to spend a little bit of time with him, and just it's amazing all the support my family and I have received from this whole experience. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Paul Grossman.